Balance is very, very important in graphic design, and it's actually a principle. But how important is it for logo designing, and can we actually apply balance to make better logo design solutions? Do follow along today and boost your awareness when it comes to designing logos and really raise the bar in the quality of your designs. So as I've already said, balance is a graphic design principle, and I've actually covered it before on this channel within the graphic design basics playlist of videos. But when it comes to designing logos, how can we incorporate that principle as part of the workflow? When you're designing a logo, you're probably going to consider the typography, the choice of color, and also things like what sort of symbol to use. But do you ever consider balance? Effective and professional logo designs will have undergone consideration of balance, and we're now going to look at how that can be achieved for your very own designs and how you can really take your designs to that next level. The first, and I might suggest the most basic approach, is to consider symmetrical and asymmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance is simply balance where a design is mirrored, or at least it has equal proportions on both sides. Asymmetrical balance, on the other hand, is where you have more weight and more focus on one side or one area of a design. Symmetrical designs are pleasing to the eye, but they can be boring and predictable to the end user. Now, a good example of a logo design symbol that carries an effective use of asymmetrical design is the Nike logo. There is more weight towards the left side of the symbol, with that weight decreasing as you head to the right end of the logo swoosh. Asymmetrical logos do tend to become more memorable simply because they stand out, and a logo being more memorable is something every design should want to achieve. Using grids is a great way to achieve both symmetrical and asymmetrical designs, because it allows you to be very precise with your measurements and also the scale. So whether you decide to use symmetrical or asymmetrical balance on your logo, it must be well thought out. So if you have a group of small elements, try not to place them centrally speaking on the logo, and try and keep them away from the large main focal point, which essentially is just what asymmetrical design is all about. Also, I do think it's wise to not consider grid systems too early on in the logo design process. Always work on concepts and ideas that relate back to the brief before you implement things like grids and so forth. Here's some more helpful information when using grid systems. I feel like the use of grids also shouldn't be the end of a design, because mathematical precision can only take you so far. You need to visually zoom out of a design composition and use your trained eye to see if the logo design elements do in fact work together in harmony. Maybe there's a large section of negative space on one side of the design, which is throwing the composition and the balance really off. Or maybe there are text elements that are way too small in comparison with other features of your design. Do make sure to use your eyes and also be critical of the composition in terms of balance. Balance also needs to be seen within the logo type. Be it a sans serif font, a script logotype, or whatever it is, you do need to manually kern the logotype to create balance in the negative space between each character. Some tricks here are again to zoom out, but this time to unfocus your eyes, because this can reveal inequalities in the negative space. You can also use circles and rectangles to measure the spacing between each character. Again though, like with the grid systems earlier, do not rely 100% on this mathematical way of determining balance. Always take a step back and view the kerning as a whole, and then apply your knowledge and the trained eye to determine if the kerning is in fact balanced on your design. There is a subtle form of balance in a logo design, and the untrained eye will not consciously understand it, and this relates to how the logotype interacts with the brand itself. Does the choice of logotype actually reflect the brand's message, and does it correlate to the design as a whole? One real life scenario that was a terrible rebrand is the Gap logo. It is estimated to have cost the brand over $100 million. The Gap brand has held a firm identity due to the logo for 20 years, But that all suddenly changed overnight because of a poorly thought out logo design. One of the reasons the logo failed so badly was thanks to the use of the Helvetica font, which was a big contrast to the tall, sophisticated serif font previously. The new logo was actually abolished after 6 days, but the damage had already been done. Now this shows how a poorly thought out choice of logotype that hasn't really considered the balance between the brand and the design itself can lead to failure. So when considering logotype, do try and understand the brand's message, who the target market is, and then make your decisions based on that. So there are some tips on how you can balance a logo design and really raise that level of quality up a notch or two. Remember, if you do want to keep increasing your logo designs or just your skills as a designer in general, subscribe to my channel for weekly graphic design content. Like and share my videos on social media. And of course guys, until next time, design your future today. Peace.